Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to the Pastor's Chat. I'm Pastor Lou Kilgore of the High Mountain Presbyterian Church in northern New Jersey, located just to the west of the great bridge from New Jersey, George Washington Bridge. Welcome. This is my makeshift office for the period of the COVID isolation separation time, and this is my bridge to you as a pastor. This is your seat. It's an opportunity for you to at least visualize yourself in a conversation with a pastor. Oftentimes I will say, if I'm officiating at a funeral or even officiating at a wedding, I will often say to the folks, maybe you'll let me be your pastor for the next few moments. And then I can speak to you and we can share together in this relationship that I think God has gifted the world with, and that is people who are called to ministry in this particular kind of way. So, I'm available. I'm your pastor. And I know in the world we live in today, there are fewer and fewer people, especially here in the northeastern part of North America, that actually have a pastor that can say, that's my pastor. So I'm letting you know, if you want to refer to me as your pastor, I'm ready. Here's your chair. This is your opportunity. How are you doing? Many times people come into a pastor's office because something's going on that they don't feel that they're doing so well, or they want to do better. And in these conversations over the past couple of weeks, I guess it has been, we've been touching on topics that arise from the change of the seasons, from the holiday of Halloween, and then also from All Saints' Day. In the background for me, always, is that the best and most creative living that we can do is done in the discovery of some way to cope with loss. Life has many, many, many beautiful things that come to us, and they surprise us, and the joy can be overwhelming. But loss is a regular part of life. And a good, a healthy way to deal with loss is like the key. It's the key that unlocks the future of a whole and real life for us in the event that we're asked to deal with loss. And we will. We will. I'm going to hit the volume button on my background music a little bit. I think that's better. It's only supposed to be just a background, not a competition. So a full life, a happy life, lived on this planet with the experience of what life brings will require skills to deal with loss. And I started to say that behind a lot of my work in this pastor's chat is an awareness that there's a systemic loss going on for us now. The pandemic, for whatever it has or hasn't meant for you, in terms of infection or not infection, it's hard to deny. There's no reason to deny that the existence of it and trying to cope with it has resulted in a lot of loss. We were just asked in the ministry of our preschool, we were just asked to document for people that are collecting this kind of information, if we could describe how much financial loss that we can actually measure since the beginning of this pandemic back in the spring. I mean, it's staggering. And that's just one little tiny school with 12 employees and 45 families involved. But the lost income and then the lost wages, it's all counted as loss. It's not the end of the world. It's not, but when you're asked to document it, we did. So coping with loss, turning loss into gain, the ability to see loss in a way as a new bottom line, a foundation from which you can spring up off of to do something new. This is the secret coping with loss in this life. Yesterday, in talking a little bit more about this concept of the saints, people that have loved you and encouraged you and have been the rock on which you could set your feet and go forward in your life, and people that have nurtured you and then are gone. So I talked about that one of the things we could think about is that you could be a saint. Even in your darkest moments of despair and of loss, if you give yourself to it, you can get outside yourself and do something for someone else. This principle is illustrated in some of the success of the 12-step movement, in all kinds of recovery from addiction. In all of them, in all the 12-step movements, the sex addicts, the Noradons, the Alcoholics Anonymous, the Al-Anon groups that are the companion groups of the addiction to the addicted, all of it begins with the willingness to do something to serve the group. In the hardest knock AA groups that I have sat in on and have certainly celebrated the courage of people in recovery, one of the best and brightest moments is when in the meeting there's someone new, someone who's somewhat skeptical about what can this group do for me. What's this group going to do for me in helping me to overcome this problem that I've never been able to do anything about, that's larger than me? And the old-timers in the group will always turn to the new-timer and say, it's not that complicated. Show up next week and you make the coffee. And in the churches I've been in, that usually results in these big aluminum, coffee urns that require you to come. They require you to come. If the meeting starts at 8 o'clock, you're going to have to sign up and show up at 7 o'clock. And you're going to put the coffee measured in the big basket in the top, and you're going to be there as the coffee percolates, and you're going to get things set up, and you're going to do this for people that you don't know. You're going to do this for reasons you don't really understand. You're going to do this at times when you don't really want to. And in some ways, my friends, it is the very first step to the recovery of sobriety and the recovery of serenity. Make the coffee. Do something for somebody else. Get outside your pity pot. Get outside your sense of, yes, the reality of what you have lost. Yes, the reality of the downheartedness that comes with it. No denial of that. That's not healthy either. But in the middle of it, the discovery. In one meditation that I was reading today, these are words that I wanted to say to you immediately when I heard them, because I was so glad they were said to me. You don't know yet the tremendous capability of love that you have in you. You have a tremendous gift that you can give. It doesn't require you to have any money. It doesn't require you to have any position of privilege. You have a gift. You have it. It's in you. And in this little meditation, they're suggesting just be on the lookout for places and ways and times where you can engage, where you can make the coffee. Another little meme that I saw, this is the election day, right? Where everybody says, oh, it's the election of our lifetime and great fortunes will rise and fall, and all kinds of very, very consequential things are said to come out of this day. Maybe so. But one little reflection said, remember to hold the door for the person that's coming behind you. Stop when you don't have to and offer for a pedestrian to cross the road. Smile at someone. I don't mean a creepy smile. Just mean you have in you. You have in you and I have in me a tremendous power to create a world, to affect a world, to affect someone's life. Now this thought grows out of it, is attached to this thing about being a saint. I had a very wealthy friend who had quite a bit of money in her life, and her husband had died and she ended up with more money, but the money never gave her a sense of direction, purpose in her life, ever. And so she decided she was going to use her wealth and her position and power, and she was going to go to Calcutta, and she was going to get a personal audience with Mother Teresa. This is a true story. And she was going to ask for an audience with Mother Teresa like you might ask for an audience with the Pope. And she wanted to get the secret from Mother Teresa. Where do you get the strength? Where do you get the power to do all these great, magnificent things you do in caring for and feeding the poorest of the poor in the most unregarded places of the universe? And so she was successful. She got a chance to actually sit down for a few minutes with Mother Teresa. And in a way that completely upset her life and her world, Mother Teresa looked at her and said, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Why are you here?" And my friend said, "Oh, I just told her I wanted to come, and I don't know what the words were, but I'm looking for, what? The secret to life. How can I help you?" is one of the things that she said. How can I help you with this great, magnificent work that you're doing? And in a way, that was initially very disappointing. Mother Teresa said to my friend, and I've since learned she said this to many people who made similar pilgrimages: go home and visit someone in your neighborhood. Go home and buy a meal for someone who needs a meal right where you live. Go home and use the power that you have where you are. Use the gifts that you have. Not magnificent, fabulous. Use the smallest and practical gift that you have and recognize the power that is in you. That was the message from Mother Teresa to my friend. Weeks. She came back. She had spent a lot of money to go there. Really thought, it was going to be like and it didn't feel like that at first. But the more she carried the words of that saint, that giver of herself, the more she realized it was true. And she began to do that. She signed up at the soup kitchen, which she found out was only about 6 blocks from her house. And not in a big way. One Thursday night a month, she began to go and offer herself to help serve food to the homeless. Didn't require like rocket science, as they say. It was a discovery that sometimes we look elsewhere for powerful, magnificent things and opportunities, and we miss what is right inside of us. You know, it sounds like just Hallmark cards to say the thing that can be said, to do the small thing that can be done, to release from inside yourself the love that you can give, love that can be shared. Opportunities for it abound. They abound. There's no better word than that. But as my small devotional says, watch. It's almost 20 minutes after 2 on Tuesday. Begin to watch for opportunities in your life to offer love to someone. Small or large, look for those opportunities. You're depressed, you're filled with compulsive behavior. I get it. Look for an opportunity to express the power of the love capability that you have inside of you. Is this just a rehash of yesterday's talk? In some ways, maybe. Be a saint. Let the saintliness of the power of God that is in you go into the world. Don't worry about the toxic people in your life. I'm not saying what Jesus ultimately said, which is love your enemies. I'm not saying go to the hardest environment ever and overcome it. No, I'm saying look for an opportunity. I know a therapist who believes that you make a lot of progress if you have the right suggestion. So the pastor makes a suggestion. And part of it was fascinating because I knew this therapist quite well, and if they were at a block in terms of conversations and progress that was being made, the therapist would recommend that at night, before the person went to bed, just before they laid down to go to sleep, they would take a pencil and paper and put it right next to the bed. And the person was to say out loud, I want to discover something new that I can do in my life. I want to see an opportunity I've never seen. And you say that, some version of that. And then you lay down and you go to sleep. And when you wake up, no matter when it is, whether it's in the night, or whether it's in the morning, or whatever it is, you try very hard to remember the dream that you had. And if you wake up, as soon as you wake up, you remember the dream, you can hold on to the dream, you write the dream down. Because when you give your subconscious permission, it will take you on journeys and flights of creativity. It will take you to places you just didn't think about, you didn't see, that was right in front of you. Now, this therapist had a lot of success with people getting breakthroughs by giving themselves permission before they went to sleep to let their dreams move and shape and bring to them thoughts and ideas they never got on their own. So, dream wildly, my friends. Record your thoughts. Look for opportunities today to be engaged in actions of love and care and compassion and mercy. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed at what you see. In a life that went racing by, you might never have seen it. And then you'll be even more amazed at the discovery of your willingness to do something, to step in. That's my prayer for you today. It's my hope for whatever is going on in response to the question of how are you today. I'm hoping that you will be inspired to love, to engage in the actions of love, because you're capable of it. God bless you, my friends. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Through the night, my prayers are for all of us in this election time. As one, I don't know if it was Richard Nixon, in his concession speech said, the other party is my opponent, they are not my enemy. May we see that all the way through the night and all the way through the day tomorrow. That God will shine a light of love on us all. Grace and peace to you, my friends. I'll talk to you tomorrow.